Well, hi everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I am here, if long gap, but we are here with four women talking. And we have a topic today of women and expectations and clothing, and we're just going to go from there. We're going to really quickly give a update because I think all of our life situations have changed since the last time we recorded, or at least all of us feel our life has changed since the last time we recorded. So my family moved. We're now in Saudi, and it was brutally hot, and now it's shockingly cold. And I see what they mean about desert winters. Two boys in college, and it's just myself and youngest and husband here. And I have started a master's program with my classes at 1 or 2 in the morning, which is a little harder than I thought it would be.
Very courageous of you, Susie. This is Lisa, and super happy to be back talking with the three of you. I make four. I guess I was going to say with the four of you, but it's really the three of you, and I'm the fourth. So my math is strong today. I am currently in Alexandria, Virginia, still bouncing around quite a bit, but mostly in the US, although I fortunately still have some international trips, and I really miss the international traveling and living in different countries. And I'm just trying to come to terms with that. My husband went to Japan this week for a work trip, and I had like feelings of nostalgia for the jet lag, even like just waking up at 2:30 in the morning and being like, huh, I have a long time before I have to get up and do anything, and I'm going to be really tired. And just like I had nostalgia for it. So that's where I'm at.
Okay, I'm Morgan in Shanghai, and I have been here a year and a half. We have a year and a half to go. So right in that like sweet spot of I finally sort of understand how to do things, and I'm already looking to leave. So yeah, that's I think about it. China's an interesting place. If you haven't gone, you should go.
Don't say too much,
Well,
Morgan.
yeah, sorry. And they're listening. Okay. And so are you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Hillary, and I am in Cali, Colombia now, post the disappearance of USAID. Yes, that's what I'm calling it from now on. The agency has been disappeared. We are finding our footing down here. We're back in Colombia, but not in the same city. So it's nice to be home, but in a place far away from what I actually know. And yeah, I took a course over the last 3 or 4 months on finance and options trading and stock market and this. So that's what I've been deep into these days is following the market. I've become one of those weirdos. But it's nice to actually be producing some income again for my family. So I feel like I'm contributing again, which has been a big like chip on my shoulder after losing the job, and putting it all on my spouse. But we're still figuring things out here. But as I said to you guys earlier, like that the last years felt like putting out fire after fire after fire, moving around the world and doing all of this. And this is the first month where it's like all the fires have been put out. In fact, today I'm getting my visa in Colombia, my long-term resident visa, so I could work here, so I can have insurance here, so I can get a driver's license here, all of these things. Which has taken 6 months of paperwork to get done, which is insane and par for the course in Colombia. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what this new normal actually feels like now.
That's next level bureaucracy.
It's the best. It's really the best. I really appreciated them making me do a background check with the FBI in the US so that I could be here. It doesn't help that the Colombian president and the US president are fighting on Twitter every day. And so that's really put a hold on visas for Americans going through down here.
They're just dying to have. It seems like they'd want you there though, so they can be like, Americans are coming.
Yeah, I
I
just
want
wanted
to
to be
be
like, hey,
here.
I'm not with the Cheeto, okay? I'm here. I'm more Colombian now. Come on. But that didn't fly. We'll see how I do in my interview today.
Don't reference Cheetos, maybe.
You can do it. We believe in you.
But I do wish, sorry to interrupt, Lisa, but I do wish you guys could see this because right out my window in Cali, there's like 3 parrots having a full-on war with each other, like big
Mhm.
parrots, like huge ones. Like that's life in the tropics here. They just fight and squeak really loudly.
That
I
sounds
miss
awesome.
tropics. I miss the tropics so much.
Yes.
Really, I see
Speaking
you
of
all
warm,
with sweaters on, and I'm so
I know
envious.
I'm so angry about warm clothing.
I
And
don't
you,
miss
Okay,
the
I'm sorry.
tropics. Go
no,
ahead, Morgan.
no,
I don't
take
miss
it,
the
Morgan.
tropics.
No, okay. I think here's what it is. So I'm in winter and I recognize Shanghai winters aren't like, it's not like Minnesota or something. We're not freezing all the time, but it is a humid cold. And because it's not so cold all the time, people aren't, it's like living kind of in Southern California. It's like that nothing's built for it to be this cold. And so everybody's just like, you're just going to have a month, sorry, of like being really cold. And then the rest of the time it'll be fine. But we can't invest in making everything warm for just that month. So my frustration has been like, first of all, it seems ridiculous to like buy a bunch of really heavy duty winter stuff that you only wear for a month and then store for the rest of the year. But also like it's challenging to have, I don't know, I was like, okay, well, I'm from a recreation place where what you wear is like a parka and snow boots. But then when you're trying to be like, oh, I'm a professional and like I'm going to wear a wool pea coat. Oh, but it also rains here. And so I can't wear wool in the rain because then it's so heavy, I'm going to die. And it ruins my black shoes or whatever. Like, so I just have day after day of like, I hate trying to dress appropriately and femininely and warmly because they are always at odds. So I need you three to help it make sense. Somebody give me an answer. What do you do to be both warm, professional, and if you feel like you want to be feminine?
You know, I think this is like an age-old cross-globe sort of question because, I mean, to start with, no embassy is built to suit a female temperature. Like they're all built to be comfortable for a man in a suit. So it doesn't matter where you are in the globe, they're over air conditioned, so they're the same temperature. And I feel like, I mean, layers, obviously layers, but then, you know, especially in the rain, like as soon as one layer is wet, then what are you going to do? You take one off, but then you're not quite warm enough. And now you have this soggy layer to carry around. It's just, there's not a way to, you are in like one of those temperatures that is just the worst. That doesn't help, I know.
Thank you. No, I feel so validated.
I was going to say, please don't ask me this question because I've only lived in the tropics forever now, since 2000. But I don't know. I feel like it's only hot weather wherever I go.
But you lived in Boston.
Yeah,
But you
when
were a
I was
poor
one of
college
those
student.
stupid young
Yeah.
girls walking around in skirts when it was negative 30 degrees outside. Like,
That's
let's not
different.
go back to those days.
No.
Someone I saw on Twitter was like trying to describe clubbing today versus clubbing when we were clubbing in college. And they were like, I see these young girls going out and they've got the baggy jeans on and the baggy shirts and the sneakers. Like, shit, they don't know fuck about going clubbing on Lansdowne Street in Boston and like 3-inch heels and a mini skirt and like trying to wear those shoes all night and then having to walk home to your dorm afterwards. Like, they don't know about blisters. They don't know about like hiding your shoes in your bag and all this stuff because they've got pockets. And anyway, it was hilarious. And I was just like, yeah, I was one of those girls, sadly. No, man. I mean, I love cold weather. I love pea coats. I love like layers. I love scarves and mittens and jackets and all the things. Like, I love it. I enjoy it whenever I get to be cold these days. I don't try to look overly feminine. My go-to is a black pea coat and be done. Yeah, I have no advice here. And in the office, yeah, it's freezing cold in the embassy. I love that everyone brought space heaters in to counteract the air conditioning. Yeah, don't know.
I think two things. Like, I totally agree that warm weather is easier to like manage clothing wise and dress wise. I really like cold weather, but coming back to the US, and I've been here for a couple of years now, but it seems like I just coming into winter this year, I was like, I really don't have that much. I have like one sweater and I don't really have any warm pants. I need to kind of expand the wardrobe, which I don't think I'm qualified to talk much about fashion and wardrobe. True story, at Christmas this year, John and I flew up to British Columbia to see his parents and grandma. And his parents had nicely gotten us each present. And so it's in a box, and it's sort of like one of those boxes that you expect it to be some sort of clothing. And as I'm beginning to open it, I haven't even opened it yet. His mom's like, if you don't like it, it's okay. We can take it back. Or if it's the wrong size, she's like, we we just don't buy clothes for the other kids. But you two, talking about me and John, you two don't really do fashion. So we feel like we can try to buy you clothes. And we're like, we look at each other and it's like,
Brutal.
thank you, I guess. And this sweater that I'm wearing, which is awesome. I love it. They bought me for Christmas, which was awesome. But I also got sort of like this, like, yeah, you don't actually know anything about fashion or care about it, Lisa, so we can attempt to buy you something because it's not that hard, because it's just anything will build out your wardrobe a little bit nicer.
Well, so
It's like
we just went to a very cold climate for Christmas. And even though I grew up in Idaho and Colorado, like I'm a temperature sissy and have lived in tropics for the last 25 years. And so I think at one point I had on 6 layers on top and a scarf and gloves, and I was still cold. So, I mean, I think after a while you just don't acclimate as quickly. I don't know, but I do have an amazing alpaca sweater website that I would be happy to share with anyone that was like, that thing was outstanding.
I do think you can wear black merino wool in a sexy way. And you can have a super thin sweater and it'll regulate your temperature, and you can have a nice V-neck sweater. You'll stay warm because it'll adapt to your body. But black merino wool is like my go-to for winter. And that's just, I have like 3 pieces and you can just wear them every single day. And they don't collect body odor. Extra plus and win. So you can just never watch them. I don't suggest that, but yeah. Can I take a second to talk about the inverse of this, which is what I'm going through now? Because I do not know what to do in Cali. Cali is the home of plastic surgery in Colombia. And it's hot. So the amount of skin that I see on a daily basis, from what yesterday in the checkout at the grocery store, at Costco, there was a 65-plus-year-old woman. It's hard to tell because, there's been some work done. And she is wearing a sports bra and leggings. And she's showing off her 6-pack. And I'm looking at this 65-year-old woman who's got 21 years on me. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that's when I'll start wearing midriffs. That is when I will do it. It's so bonkers here to try to figure out what's age appropriate because it just does not compute, man. The butt implants are off. I don't know where people can buy pants that allow these butt implants to be incorporated into the pants. We have a game of is it real or not that we play when we walk down the street here, because it's nothing is real. And then there's this other very cheap surgery that you can get here where they suck all your belly fat out and give you a six pack, but they don't take your fat from anywhere else. So your body looks a little bit like, did she only exercise her abs but then forget about the rest? Like, what's happening here? It is the weirdest city in the world. I don't know. And half the time I'm at the gym and I don't know where to look. I don't know what to do. And the really popular thing here at the gym is to wear like a onesie. That's one piece with no bra or sports bra underneath, because you don't need any of those things when all the pieces have been structurally assembled to not move and look a certain way. It is insanity, ladies. Like, it is. I look like a trashy, worn out tire when I show up at the gym. I don't know how else to describe it, because these women have got full makeup on, and they are working out. They are like lifting weights. They are hardcore. Like image is really important here, right? They do the work, but then they also have it all enhanced. And I just don't like trying to like compete or even stand next to the image here in Cali is like, I can't. I'm like, Juan, you're gonna leave me for any of this. And I'm like, I just want you to know, like, I'm different, I can't do this, and I never will. And but I'm also just completely fascinated with it. And I find myself every day walking through the mall, because I gotta go to the notary like 50 times a day to deal with my visa shit. And I walk past 12 different places where I can get Botox. And I'm just like, I mean, it's like $20. Like, should I? Maybe just like to ward off some of the permanent wrinkles.
Sorry. Yeah. No, you shouldn't.
Well,
I was saying, yeah. Well, I don't know. Do you? But I feel like it's hard, right? Because it's so, I mean, part of why, I guess, to I don't know, I hate to use the word cope, but to be in the lifestyle we were all in is to learn to adapt to a new place. And a part of that is like, what do people do here? What's the norm? Like, okay, we're all going to learn how to surf, or we're all going to learn how to ski, or we're all going to like go to musicals or whatever it is, wherever you are. Right. And so it's like, if you're somewhere, I think it would be very hard to not want to fit in that way. And to be, and we go most places and we're different anyway. And so you're like, okay, you try to pick up the norms and pick up the habits. And so but it would be, I think, challenging, like you're saying, to be like, oh, okay, the norm is to like permanently alter all these things about me physically, and then I'll fit in. And it would be hard as you're walking to be like, okay, well, maybe just like a little here or here. And, maybe I should just do my lips or like whatever. It'd be very hard, I think, to ignore that constant sort of feedback about like, it's easy to change you. So why aren't you? Why wouldn't you change you?
But
it's not always the big stuff. Sorry, Susie, go ahead.
If like, okay, so if you're just doing like little things, like a little Botox or a little filler, which like 100%, if that's what you want to do and you appreciate what that does, that's amazing. But there's a point where you have to ask yourself, like, when is it enough? Because then like you don't even really know what your like base person looks like any longer.
Yeah. I will say, when I was in Bangkok like a year and a half ago, they asked me if I wanted to have these like blotches on my face lasered. And I hadn't even really thought about it. But when I was pregnant, I got some of those, what are they called? Malaysias, like patches. And I was like, okay, I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about the cost of it. Wow, I was really living in a different world then. I just said yes. And and it was like tattoo removal. It was like that laser, and it hurt like a motherfucker. But they did it, and then it looked like I had freckles for a couple of weeks. And then all of these like things just fell off. And it wasn't anything I'd planned to do. It wasn't anything that was bothering me. And Juan had looked at me and he was like, I would have never asked you to do that. Or told you or even suggested it, but I can't not say that you don't look so much, your skin doesn't look like 12 years younger. or you just look great. And I was like, okay, well, thanks. I'm not going to do that again because I'm chicken. But it's one of those things. And I don't have any desire to do anything here, but it's also, yeah, the ubiquity of it and the fact that, like, yeah, I should have my nails done. If I walk past the salon, there's 50 men in there getting manicures. The expectation is that men have their nails done too. Like, the beauty standards here are for everyone. It's not just for women. In fact, men are encouraged to get calf implants so that their calves don't look like little chicken legs. And then they get this little butt on the back of their legs and they get that implanted there. So they have these raging calves. It's really, really weird. So yeah, we could try to dress more feminine, but like, what's feminine where? What does that look like? How does that appear for everyone?
And I think
Well, and
that's some of the, sorry, Lisa, you go real quick. I want to just say like that's part of my challenge is like whatever I invest in fitting in and looking like whatever the norm is for women here might be different wherever I go in a year and a half. And so I also have a hard time being like, I don't like, I agree with you. Black wool is sort of like, okay, that's universal and it's warm, but it's like hard because sometimes I'm like, well, maybe I'll buy something else. Or like Lisa saying like, oh, one more sweater might be useful. But then it's like, but then I have to pack it up in a year and a half or sell it or something. Anyway, Lisa, you go.
I mean, there's a bunch of different thoughts coming to mind. And one of them is just like, there is such a huge industry and economy that is built around women being told we need to look different than we do. And everything from just makeup to the surgeries to, everything in between. And I think it's just a reality of this world. And um, I mean, intellectually, and I like talk myself through this a lot, and I'm getting ready to shave my head as I come up to turning 50. And the idea behind this was like, I really want to do something that is it's a symbol that the external things on me do not make up my identity. But things like hair really do become part of my identity. And it's like, well, I've had long hair, I've had short hair, and everybody comments and this, that, and the other, and my hair grows fast. And it's like, well, what? Okay. And anyway, I got this idea a long time ago. I'm like, when I turn 50, I'm gonna shave my head. And it's scary. And another friend of mine has done it, and we're doing it as like also simultaneously a good cause for the St. Baldrick's Foundation, which is nice to combine that with. But it also is like at the core for me, it's a symbolism of the external pieces of myself that everybody sees and judges do not make up my identity. And I have to like work really hard at this. And again, super scared. And I'm just like, blah, I already bought my first hat to like wear and pull down. Right. So it's like, okay, I'm exchanging hair for a hat identity. Even there, it's like, it's kind of crazy to deal with. And it also is like part of our reality. And depending on the situation, if I want to show up and look professional, well, there's certain expectations of how I look and how I dress. And I have to kind of make the decision of like, okay, what matters most? I have really prioritized feeling comfortable in my clothes. So I absolutely do not look the most fashionable, but I want to like feel good. And when I'm working and I'm in front of a group, I want to be able to like feel grounded. And guess what? I wear comfortable shoes, which means they don't look that great because they're just like, well, they're like man shoes. This is what drives me nuts. I'm like, men get to wear these shoes all the time and nobody looks at their shoes. But women, if I wear a pair of shoes that are like quote unquote man shoes, like meh, like they're boring shoes or whatever. And I like the way heels look, but they're incredibly uncomfortable. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm done. I'm not going to do that to my feet. And I want to feel like good about myself. And I want to feel a level of comfort that allows me to just like really show up and be the best version of myself, which ultimately comes from inside. And again, like I'm saying this, and it's really easy to say, it is not easy to live out. And I'm saying it simultaneously to myself as well as sharing it with you guys.
So I listened to a podcast yesterday and it made me think about leaning into the difference. which is that, and I think we should all come off microphone because it's like I see you guys laughing when I say things, but then I don't hear you. And so the audience doesn't think I'm funny either. If you guys aren't laughing vocally, then I'm sorry.
There we
Okay,
go.
there we go. See, everyone's
Studio
laughing, but you
laughter.
didn't know that
Laugh
because
track.
yes, now
Laugh track.
there we go. But it was about how reality TV, the Kardashians, all of this really changed our beauty standards. And that's when they start to see a lot of like implants and things like this. Like really the market just goes up for those. But more than that, what it talked about was when you watch reality TV, the first season feels so real. And then the second season, if you watch closely, they all start to look the same. All the actresses all start to go in like one direction or the other. And they say it's because, well, they got money, they want to make improvements, whatever it is, but it's also because they watched that first season and they saw how they looked. And they had to constantly like look it then. So anyway, but the problem is season after season, it becomes so homogeneous. Everyone has the same hair, the same cat eyes, the same cheeks, the same facelift, whatever the case may be. And I think if we listen to all these norms and these standards around us in the culture circulating, we will all start to head in that one homogenous direction. I don't want to look like everyone else. I want to look like me. And so it's like, now I'm just kind of like, that's what makes me me. I don't have blonde hair like all of the Kalanias around me. I don't have, fake blonde hair. That's not true. I've got highlights. Maybe I've leaned into it too much. I don't always have a manicure. I have half of my picked off nails on this side and none of my clothes are from here. And I don't know that I'll ever be able to wear a midriff in public. And that makes me me. And I'm just going to be like, okay with that. But the only thing that keeps me like centered in that feeling is that if I start to do these things, I will look like everyone else, which is not what I want. So
Good point.
I don't know. I don't
I
want to
do
move
think
towards that.
that women's clothing, I mean, I think, and the way women look is probably the part that has changed the most from country to country that we have lived in, and the expectations of what we wear. And this is, now I'm to the point where I'm like, I'm not going to wear an abaya. I'm just not. It's not going to be anything I ever even consider wearing. And it's not because I don't want to be culturally sensitive. I will 100% cover what needs to be covered. And I will 100% not wear shorts in public or expose my shoulders or whatever and be culturally sensitive that way. But also, I am not Saudi and I'm not Muslim. And so therefore, I don't feel like I should have to assimilate to what the clothing expectations are here. I wouldn't, I guess maybe I'm also old enough where I'm like, I don't really feel like I need a butt implant. Like I'll do more squats if I want to, but like, I don't really feel like I need it, or cheek implants or what have you. But it's just the expectations on women and how they look and how they dress, honestly, is just unrealistic, I think.
I think too, we compete with each other too. And like, it's sometimes it's like, oh, well, we want to be like attractive for whatever sex we're interested in, but like we can be really hard on each other. And I think we need to figure out how to be so supportive of each other and complimentary of each other and affirming of each other. And I feel like we have not really learned to do that in our societies. Like women tend to compete with each other, and there's all these evolutionary theories why. And it's like, yeah, but we don't need to do that anymore. So it's like, let's change that. Let's be intentional about figuring out a way to be each other's greatest cheerleaders and supporters, because it's hard to be different. It's hard to be. And I resonate with that, Hillary, and I love it. And it's like, okay, yeah, let's support each other and cheer each other on. And you know what? Maybe for some, it means they're gonna go and do the surgeries and this, that, and the other. Like, okay, great. Like if that is really what is gonna bring you joy and happiness and fulfillment, great, go and do it. And also, for me, if that's not what I'm going to do, then okay, I'm going to embrace the wrinkles on my face. And it bothers me every single day as I look in the mirror, my wrinkles on my face. And also, I look at other people who have the wrinkles, and whenever John and I are traveling, we see people, and we're like, oh man, that would be an awesome person to take a portrait of. And it is always somebody who is older and has like a ton of their life kind of like written on their face in wrinkles. It's like we don't ever want to take a portrait of somebody who like has had the plastic surgery. We're like, oh my gosh, like there's so much that you can just see in that person's face. It's like it's the older people who have the wrinkles and the like the life. And there's some movie, it's with Julia Roberts, where she's a mom and her son has some sort of her condition where his face is has a deformity. I can't remember the name of the movie, but she says to him, she's like, you know, like the face is a map of where we've come from and where we've been, but our heart is a map of like who we are and where we're going, something to that effect. And I just like, I keep coming back to that because I have to like be honest and be like, yeah, I have judgment against myself and my own wrinkles, and I wish I didn't. And I look at other people and I'm like, how the heck? My sister's 10 years older than me. I have way more wrinkles than they do. And I'm like, man, like I just like missed out on the genetic pool somehow in my family for good skin. But I've also been through a lot in life, and I've had a lot of stress and loss and grief. And so I'm like, well, I guess like, yeah, here's a map of where I've come from.
Yeah, I don't think you have a particularly wrinkled face, Lisa. So I don't know what your sisters have going on, but maybe they're especially gifted. But I do, yeah, I agree with that. We do need to like support each other more. And I think that whatever the theories about why we compete, there's still this, it's profitable for us to doubt ourselves. Is for me, that's always it, right? Because I now have, you know, a daughter who's like, you know, oh, is this, am I fat? Am I, you know, should I cut my hair? Should I, so and so's this and that, you know? And it's like, she's 9 and she and her friends are already, you know, like aware that that's what the world expects of them. It's talking bad about, oh my gosh, a couple of friends came over and they went swimming, and my family were not a light people in general. There's just some bulk and girth and muscle that's just inherent into the physical structure of us, and that's great. It's really awesome if you're a male, and it's a little bit more challenging if you're a female, just based on some of these standards. But so, you know, for my boys, they're like, oh, and these sports teams and great. And for my daughter, I'm like, what, you know, you want to get into powerlifting? Like, I mean, I don't know how to help her embrace the best part of it. But her 2 little friends are teeny humans. And so they come and actually like, they're all going to go swimming. And all we have is a 2-piece to share with one of the girls who didn't bring a swimsuit. And she puts it on, and the girl has a 6-pack, like a full 6-pack. She's 9, but she's like, I mean, she's skinny, but she does a bunch of exercise, I guess. And so my daughter and the other friend were like, oh my gosh, you have a 6-pack. And like, I was like, I mean, I don't know, but I was like, that's amazing, right? And the girl was so self-conscious, and all she kept saying is, I look so ugly. I look so ugly. And I was like, no, is this, what's happening? Like, I was so sad. And I was like, don't be like, no, you look awesome. And who cares? And she was like, I just don't want to look weird. And she was so self-conscious. And I get it if she's never worn a 2-piece. Like that, there is something about bearing your midriff, Hillary. Like I get it. You're just like, oh, people are looking, and like
we age into it.
Just wait till you're 65. You look so good. But then actually, I mean, and so then, you know, I was just trying to be like, oh, like just, you know, everybody's going to tell you to be self-conscious, but like the only way to be comfortable in a bikini is to just forget what everybody thinks and just wear it and be you. Like it doesn't, I mean, and of course this is like Lisa was saying, you work really hard on like, I don't care. This is what I've chosen to wear. If people are going to judge me, that's on them. I'm wearing whatever this thing is that I'm wearing. choose article of choice. But my daughter came down and she was like, yeah, like, who cares what you look like? You're beautiful if you believe you're beautiful. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like
Mm.
it's working. Right. But like,
Mhm.
I feel like it's constantly, I mean, of course, she's at the beginning of, there will be years and years of the world telling her you're ugly, you're not good enough, fix that, fix this. And I was like, okay, like we're just still okay for now, right? And we have to just keep fighting this fight. And here we all are still, puzzling over how do you help other women see themselves as beautiful as they are, and like how do you battle with like what I want to fit in, and I want, yes, like my spouse or my partner to find me attractive, but I also don't want to have to change for that to be how they feel, and or like to fit in with my friends even, right? Like that it's I don't know, it's a high wire act, and I think it's not it's very challenging for everybody to do it. And it's too bad that we don't have like, and like Susie said, like it depends on where you are, right? Like that where Hillary is, the less you wear, the better you fit in. And where Susie is, the more you wear, the better you fit in. And probably in both places, everybody's spending a bunch of money on anti-aging cream, right? It's just like if you are skinny enough and young enough, you're beautiful. But even then, the young and beautiful ones are like constantly self-conscious about, are they young and beautiful enough? And like in a few years, they won't be. I don't know. It's very, anyway, back to what I started with, which was rage. Because now all I feel about this is rage.
But I think you summed it up so nicely, Morgan. I mean, you pointed out all the conflicts that exist between these two ends, and how it's an age-long battle to just be yourself and be secure with who you are. And how do we teach that to young people? And how, I mean, yes, there's a level of confidence that we can install in our daughters, but there's also what conversation are we having with men? What conversation
Right.
about standards of beauty, Susie, are you having with your three boys? Like, what do you teach them to look for in someone who's true to themselves, who's original, or, how do you help young men move past the superficial so that they're not setting the beauty standards later? I don't know. I don't have answers to any of these things.
Yeah, I mean, that is a very valid and great point, Hillary. Like it's not just us, right? We have to think about our kids and what messages they're getting and sending, our girls and our boys, because unfortunately they feed and kind of it's a mesh that they will all live in. And yeah, I mean, I would like to think that I have helped my boys to grow up and be accepting and loving of all, regardless of what they look like, and think about like what people are like instead of what they look like. That's not necessarily the message they're getting from their friends. That's not the message they're getting from social media. So like I am one voice in their ear, hopefully a voice that they listen to. This is the same thing that every parent deals with, right? And I think really what we can do is just make sure that our voice is consistent and the message that we're sending is consistent. But also like what we say to ourselves, especially out loud, because they see that, they hear that, and they mirror and mimic that. I mean, it's a rough world out there.
I also think too, there's just value in conversations like this.
Yeah.
We aren't going to come away with any beautiful packaged up answers and like, well, oh, just follow this little life hack and you'll always feel confident and know that your joy comes from within. I mean, it'd be nice if there was the hack to get there, and I don't believe that there is. And so I also feel like we are in a time of major transition societally in a way that women have not had to work through previously. And so we are like, part of the reason why this is so hard is because we can't look behind us and say, oh, well, yeah, like the last generation, this is what they dealt with, and it's very similar, so this is what we can do. We're we're in such a different place. The world has changed so dramatically. So we're figuring it out as we go. And so I think these conversations are really valuable, even if they are just like sharing, this is a challenge for me, and this is a challenge for you. And like, I'm trying this and you're trying that. And like, well, let's like get together and support each other and realize that there aren't simple answers, but it's worth doing the difficult work. And hopefully we pass along, as you're describing, to the next generation to make it like a little less difficult for them. Like, I don't know that it's going to just all of a sudden be easy. We are not, haven't yet found any magic wands, but if we can make it just that little less challenging, no, hey, we're in this together. I think that there's value there.
Well, I think that's well said, Lisa. I mean, yeah, just having these discussions with people makes you feel like, oh, we're all insecure. Well, let's all be insecure together.
Well, and sadly, I
Confidently
think
insecure.
rather than the women and girls becoming more like men, where it's like, just wear your shoes, nobody's looking at your feet, and like, just be warm, put a coat on, like, make sure it flatters your figure, and like, you know, wear a padded bra if you, whatever, like all that crap. It's actually, people have realized it's profitable to give men a complex and boys. And so now it's like, actually, it's like on both sides. It's like, boys, don't, your pecs aren't big enough, and you're like, you need calf implants, and like that. Actually, it's just merged all of the lack of confidence across as well. And it's, I guess, maybe another, on to the next, like, will the matriarch save us? It's like, now we have to be like, oh no, don't listen, you're fine, like, you're meant to get old, you don't need to have a superhero body, like, please stop doing chest press, like, just be okay. I need you to still be able to walk when you're 75. Like, please stop doing whatever you're doing with those weights right now. Like, just let's go on a walk, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's, yeah.
Well, so we started off talking about women in clothing and coldness, and then we moved on to expectations of women and standards and ideals such that they are of beauty. And I think we're in a place where we're talking about positive, informative, supportive conversations. I also think that we could talk about this for another hour and a half, but any last thoughts, ladies?
Yeah, I think in a world where everyone's trying to reach these beauty standards or figure out how they can look like that, just remember, like, you're all headed in one direction. That one place of
Kelly.
beauty, like, step away from it, step to the side, and just be all right not entering that race to all look the same. Because as I try to teach my daughter, if all the fish in the ocean were the same fish and they all look the exact same, wouldn't that just be boring? Isn't diversity awesome?
Diversity is awesome.
I'm a whale.
Morgan's like the least whale.
You haven't seen me lately.
All right. Well, thank you on that very, very positive note. Thank you so much for listening. This is always a pleasure to talk with these three amazing women. And I am sure we will have another conversation to share with you soon. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.